Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. I am so excited today because we have a very special guest with us. Today we have with us Miss Lesley Levine, and she is an animal communicator. I am so excited to talk to her and learn about her gifts and how she communicates because you guys know that I am an animal lover. I have two dogs of my own and I think animals are amazing. So I cannot wait to talk to her and find out how she developed these gifts and discovered that she had them and how she uses them to help animals. But before we get started today, we do have a word from our sponsor.
Hey, beautiful people, meditation is the new it thing. I mean, less stress sounds good, right? And your doctor recommends it, and after a yoga class, you always feel so good. But what exactly are you supposed to be doing? Clearing your head? Yeah, right. And how are you supposed to find the time to do it every damn day? Hi, my name is Sherry Augustine Flake, and I'm the stress therapist. I've been working in the Metro Atlanta mental health community for over 25 years. I teach people how to get better at stress and stop procrastinating and stay motivated while they work on healthy habits like meditation and happy living. Meditation is about as good for you as water, and I want you to have this. I can show you not only exactly what to do when you're meditating, but how to get this practice into your life with regularity so you too can finally reap all of the benefits that this sacred practice has to offer. What you get is meditation for people living in the real world. Let's explore together meditation. WTF.
All right, welcome back, guys. And I want to welcome you, Lesley, for being here. Thank you for being here today and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Melissa.
I'm so excited because I love learning about all of the different kinds of psychic abilities and intuitive abilities. And I've never personally spoken to someone who can communicate with animals. So I am extremely excited to find out more about this.
Well, I'm happy to tell you how it all started.
Yes, please do that. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and when did you first realize that you had the ability to communicate with animals?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that we all have that ability. It's just something that you have to work on to develop. And we're born with the ability. It's just another intuitive skill. And as you may know, we all have it when we're born, and around the age of 5, 6, we start to lose it, especially if we have adults around us who are telling us that invisible friend that we're playing with isn't really there. So it's just a skill that we have, and we need to use that muscle to, find it and get it back into our lives. I started a pet sitting business over 30 years ago. I was on the cutting edge, and I guess I'm kind of on the cutting edge here with animal communication too. And so having animals around me 365 days a year for that amount of time certainly made me very connected to them. And about 25 years ago, I'd say, I heard of Penelope Smith, and she was really the one of the first people to talk about animal communication and start to write books about it. And I had the opportunity to go to one of her workshops, and it all started for me there. Um, More recently, I took classes with Danielle McKinnon, who who teaches intuitive stuff now too, but she started out with animal communication itself, and so I got engrossed in that and learned to communicate with animals and with my own too. Your own are the hardest because you're the closest to them. But that too can be developed, and you can have conversations and find out what's going on with your own animals.
So I have a question for you. When you are communicating with animals, does it kind of just appear to you like thoughts in your head that how does that work exactly?
Well, it all depends upon how your intuitiveness shows itself. So you can hear words, you can see pictures, you can just know, you can actually get downloads of information. So it's all, or you can get a combination of all of those. So, and you can get smells, you can use all your senses and I mostly hear, I know, I have a knowing. I do get downloads at times. And I see pictures in my head. And so I need to, I've spent a lot of time figuring out what those pictures mean. Um, One of the funniest things I saw once was I saw a genie in a bottle. Um, and um, and I figured out that the interpretation was that you can manifest your own wishes. I've seen owners of animals spinning around, pictures of them spinning, and they're so crazy in their lives that the animal's showing me that they're just turning and turning and turning and not getting any place because they have so much to do.
Now, do you ever work with animals? Let's say, like, there's a human saying, I know there's something wrong with my animal. And do you help them then to also try to figure out what's going on with animals?
I always remind people that I'm not a vet and that they really should go to their vet and find out if there's a medical problem. However, I can tune in and figure out what I'm feeling in my body, and tell them what I feel. But the first step really for them is to go to a vet. I also really love getting into behavior problems since I've had animals around me, especially dogs. But I have my pet sitting business. I had lots of cats. I'd have a cat of my own if my children hadn't been allergic to cats. Um, and so behavior problems are fun for me. I get to use my left and my right side of my brain. And many times you'll find that the animals are here to teach us, to help us learn. And many times I'll have someone tell me that their animal is anxious. They want to know why their animal is so anxious. And sometimes it just turns out that they're so anxious, the animal is just mirroring them. And so I might have to tell them that they need to work on their anxiety. And it's sometimes it's welcomed and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I can see that. But I think that's interesting that you say that animals will mirror you because I saw a video the other day. There was a guy who hurt his leg and he was limping on the leg, and his dog was walking right next to him, also limping. Dog was not injured at all. He was just following what his owner was doing. And I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. And just really how loyal dogs really are to their owners.
Right, right. There and part of it is to teach us. And if you go to my site at lesleylevine.com, and Lesley is Lesley, you'll find that I wrote a blog on my first blog was all about what my dog Mabel is teaching me. And I have allergies and Mabel has allergies. Mabel is a barker. She barks when she wants another animal to play with her, and she won't stop. And I knew that meant something in my life, and I figured out that, you know, sometimes I'm a little overbearing in the household, and I'm a little bossy, and I tell my husband what to do, and she's just mirroring that for me. So it's things I need to work on.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But it's interesting to think that the animals are teaching us something because we usually think of it as the other way around, right? Like we're teaching our animals to sit or to, listen to us when we go for walks. But I know animals have just as much to teach us. They're very, very
Right.
intuitive
Right. And they're teaching us those lessons we need to improve ourselves on the soul level. So during my readings, I will ask the person, um, the animal's person, if they'd like me to go to the soul level and find out what the cat or dog or rabbit is teaching, is here to teach them about their life lessons. And, it could be something as simple as unconditional love, um, or setting boundaries, things like that.
Now, I have a question too. Do you ever have, or do you ever channel sometimes crossed over pets?
Absolutely. I do. And that's the other area that's really fun for me because there's no question that the animals have gone to the same place that we all go to when we pass on. And I see the animals in their happy place. So I usually see them in um, a field of wildflowers, and there's bees buzzing around and birds around, and everybody's in um, communion together. They live in peace together. And I've seen a cat that's running after rodents, but it's in play. It's not to catch them and eat them. So yes, I do that, and that help. And I have another blog that talks about, and you can see these on my website, and it talks about less signs from the other side. And one of the best signs that I've heard about is an animal that passed away, but the family still left their dog bed out in the kitchen. And while they're sitting and eating breakfast, there's an indentation in the dog bed. And since I heard about that, it's come up over and over again with other people. So, but animals they leave us signs. They want their owners to know that they're still connected, they're still watching over, just like people do. And so there might be a feather, or you might hear a song that's really special to you when you're playing with someone else's dog. It all has to be interpreted, and you have to keep your eyes open for the synchronicities that are out there, but they're out there.
Yeah, I love that because I know losing a pet for a lot of people is the same as if you lost a child. It's a member of the family, and I never really understood that until I had pets. Growing up, we didn't really have a lot of pets, but once we got our dogs, I was like, oh, I understand now why people really go through a grieving process when they lose their animals. So it's comforting to know that they're still with you and they'll be waiting for you when you get to the other side too. And I just see like this reunion on the other side of all of these dogs and cats running towards you when you get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes they do come back and reincarnate into another animal, or just come back I've heard of cases where they come back for a short amount of time and share the body with the animal you have, or another animal, for a certain lesson or a certain purpose.
That's really interesting too. And I have heard of people who said, I swear when my animal did this, it was like my old pet. Like, so that makes a lot of sense. That's really interesting too. I believe in that for sure. And it's comforting to know that, they're still kind of with you and wanting to be a part of your life.
Right. Well, the animals have actually told me that they get taught what the people like. So when before we come down on earth, we have a contract that we're going to fulfill, and it's the same with the animals. And while they're preparing to come down, they learn about the special things that the person likes, or the special things that that animal that already passed can tell about the owner. And so one of the things I like to do with one of my dogs was blow on its belly and like you do with a little baby. And that dog just loved it. Well, the dog I have now doesn't like it at all. And it's like she's setting her own boundaries for me. In fact, I love to get kisses. She won't give me kisses when I ask for them because she wants me to learn that I can love myself and I don't have to go to her to be loved.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Really interesting. I love looking at it like from that angle of, what are our pets here to teach us? And definitely, I've always thought they teach us unconditional love for sure. But the different specific lessons too that they're teaching, that is really, really interesting. I've never ever thought about it like that before. So fascinating. So, walk us through if someone gets a session with you. How does that work?
Well, first of all, you don't need to come to me or I don't need to go to you. All I need to know is and I don't even need a picture. And frankly, I don't even want a picture. The less information I have, the better. So I need to know the name of the animal, the species, whether it's a male or a female, and whether it's alive or passed on. And that's all I need to know. And so you can go to my website and make a date. And on that date, I will call you. And the first thing I will do is I will connect to the person because the person is very connected to the animal. And so I'll spend a few minutes doing that, not a lot. And then I'll go on to the animal and I'll tell you what I pick up on. And from there, we will go to any questions that you have. And then we can go see what lessons the animal is teaching you if you'd like to go there. And that's how it works. And so my sessions are 25 minutes or 45 minutes, and 25 minutes usually does it. If you have more than one animal, we can do them more than one animal. And if you have a lot of animals and you want to do them all, we can do them in one session or we can do them in a few sessions.
What do people usually come to you looking for? Like when they book a session with you, what's the most common reason people book with you?
Well, they come because they have a behavior problem. Their kitty isn't using the litter box, or their dog is barking obsessively. They come because they've lost an animal and they just want to know that it's still around. Or they come just because they want to know what their animal's thinking. And the question I get most often is, does my animal love me? And you don't even need to call me. We don't need a session for that. I'll tell you right now, your animal loves you.
I love that. What is your most interesting case that you've ever done?
Well, I it's sometimes it's just those moments with those pictures. And so I had a dog that was dressed in cheerleading outfit with the pom poms and the thing to make their voice louder and the cone to make their voice louder. And it turned out that the dog wanted to tell me that she was a cheerleader for her owner.
Oh.
And this is the way she told me that she was a cheerleader for her owner. She was jumping around and, just showing me what a cheerleader does.
That's so awesome. I love that. That's adorable too. I love that that picture showed up. But what a perfect way to communicate that. Hello. What does a
Right,
cheerleader do?
right, right.
And I feel like a lot of animals probably are so supportive of their owners, just really, it's hard to express, but supportive of them, wanting to be there for them, just like they know their owners are there for them.
Right. And I told you that I started with a pet sitting business. Well, I still have a few customers that I still service. Um, and the animals at this point in my life, they come and stay with me. The dogs do when the owners go away. And those animals are here to teach me a lesson too. Any animal you run into, that bird that's chirping outside or that woodpecker that's driving you crazy, they're all here to teach you something. And so, I'll be followed around by this dog that isn't my dog in the house. And it's like, okay, enough, but, this dog has a lesson to teach me, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to be thinking about that from now on of what are we supposed to be learning from animals? Such an interesting way to look at that instead of I know we are always looking at it the other way around. Like, oh, what
Right.
are we teaching them? But what are they teaching us? And any other particular instances where you connected with animals that really stand out for you?
Well, there was the cat um, that I saw on a stool stirring batter or something for supper to make in the kitchen. The music was playing, the smells were really there, and the cat just wanted to show what happened in the household, what he was a part of. And he had a chef's hat on. The owners really loved to cook, and it's just the pictures they send me are wonderful. And you know, again, let me go back to that we all have this skill. It's just that we need to work on it, just like we go to the gym to develop our bodies. And those pictures appear really, really quickly. So, you just have to know that so that you can pick up on it. And as time goes on, they may get clearer. But it's something that I've been working on for a few years now, and it doesn't come overnight.
And do you have any advice for someone out there who maybe thinks that they either have this ability and would like to really develop it and work on it, or someone who just says, I would love to be able to communicate with my animals?
The first thing is to get quiet. So for me, meditation is takes care of that. And so I make sure to meditate every day. And I found that when I wasn't feeling well at one point, and there were a few days that I didn't meditate, that, I had to start over. It was like I lost a little bit of it. So quieting the mind so that so you can hear um, the messages that they're sending or see the pictures that are coming out or get that download. So that's the first thing, is really quieting the mind. And certainly if people are interested in finding teachers, I'm more than happy to guide them that way, and they can contact me through my website that has my my email address is Lesley Levine, Lesley with an EY 2020 at gmail.com. So they can contact me there, or if they don't remember that, they can, find it on my website.
Awesome. And that is so nice of you to be willing to help guide people to the right teachers too. I love that. So is there like a common theme maybe that comes out when you're working with animals? Maybe something that the message you hear a lot that maybe animals really want their owners to know?
Well, I think today, and I'm guilty of this too, is that we're babying our animals. Um, they I have a 17-pound dog, so I can pick it up and turn it on its back and turn her on her back and hold her like a baby. And they don't really want that. Um, they want to be treated as beings, and they're not babies. They're very intelligent, and they have these messages that are really meaningful messages for us. So we need to stop the babying. Um, we go to Florida in the winter, and I see all these carriages with animals, with dogs and cats in them. And this isn't a normal life for animals. They want to smell, when you know, your dogs, when they go outside, they're smelling everything. It's like they're reading the newspaper. Well, it's important for us to read the newspaper, and it's important for them to smell and see who's been around. So we need to allow for that. Allow for them to connect with nature, just like it's important for us to connect with nature.
I love that. That's a really great message because I know that is important for them. Well, I want to ask you if anyone is out there, because I know you offer like 25-minute sessions or 45-minute sessions. If anyone's out there and saying, oh, I'd really love to connect to my animals, or maybe they just want to follow you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Lesley, Lesley, Levine, Levine, dot .com. LesleyLevine.com. You can read my blog. You can email me, find my email address, and email me if you have any questions. And I'm happy to talk to anyone who has questions.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on here and telling us about your abilities and sharing with us the beautiful messages from the animals. I just love that. And I want to thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us today.
Thank you, Melissa. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank all of you for joining us today. As always, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave a positive review from wherever you're listening. And the greatest compliment you can pay me is to share this podcast with others. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. As always, I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.